Hello YouTube, what's up? Moses here. Today I want to show you how to craft these multi-modded gloves. So these are essentially pretty insane. They're kind of like having a stat stick on your gloves. Let's go through the mods. First of all, you have cold res, increased damage with hits against chilled enemies. Okay, it goes 30 to 50, and the tier 1 cold res. These are temple gloves. Now, you just gotta buy these off of PoE trade. Just look for damage against chilled enemies, magic pair of gloves, and pretty easy clap. You'll find these. Let's turn down the music a bit. Alright, but how do you actually get these? Basically, there's a recipe with the Krake Cameral of an imprint of a magic item. Right, so when you release one of these, you buy them, you release it, and then it shows up over here. Create an imprint of a magic item, right? So yeah, you just do that, and this basically allows you to save the item the way it is. Alright, so let's go ahead and do that. And there we go. We have what looks like what used to be the Eternal Orb that doesn't drop in the game anymore. But yeah, now once we've done that, we basically want a regal. We want a magic. We want to turn the magic item into a rare, and we want a specific roll on the regal. We want life, right? We want a big life roll. Kapow! It's dead. But let's imagine. Okay, let's pretend we rolled life on this. By the way, the glove's eye level just needs to be higher than 56 to roll tier 1 life roll. I checked, so it's fine. So if we hit something bad, we don't really need accuracy. We just use the imprint, and it turns to be a magic item, just like before, right? This is pretty insane. Like, just look at these mods. It's kind of ridiculous. You have the hybrid cold res and damage against chilled enemies. I regaled life, and then I multi-modded. Increased damage during any flask effect, which is pretty much all the time. Increased damage while leeching, which is, again, all the time. Because even if we're not leeching life, we're leeching mana, right? Constantly leeching life and mana. So we're constantly getting that buff. It's huge. I mean, it's kind of broken. So damage during any flask effect, all the time up while mapping, all the time while mapping the leeching. And then global crit chance, increased elemental damage if you've dealt a crit recently, and you always deal crits past 4 seconds. So this is a massive, and on top of that, of course, the temples mod, damage with hits against chilled enemies. And you don't need to have a frozen orb type build or winter orb, whatever. You don't need to have a cold build specifically. You just need to have some, you know, cold on your gear. And that's it. Some cold damage to attacks. If you're an attack build, these gloves are good for, you know, any attack build or spellcaster, right? So it's actually quite insane. It's not very good, you know, if you've crit recently, traps, mines, totems, these won't work. That's particular mod. And then you can craft another suffix over there. Like if you need another resist, you can craft yourself something like that. Let's try another time. So you release the beast, search for the imprint of a magic item, and then you just hope to hit a nice regal. Now, obviously it's pretty expensive, right? I mean, right? Each one of these beasts is 80 chaos. I just paid 80, yeah, for each one of these beasts. I had like 10, but I mean, I created another pair of gloves, hit another nice regal over here. Let's try and hit the regal, and we have the imprint. If we fail, we can always go back. No video value. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. And then you keep getting the imprints, and you keep re-rolling it. This is, by the way, why Eternal Orbs were removed from the game, because you could basically roll yourself the perfect items over and over again. And my last one, please, video value. So yeah, that's basically how you craft it. I just kind of wanted to show this quick tutorial. And yeah, you got the imprint, you pray for life. We got fire res. Okay, so fire res is it's not a bad thing to have, right? It's an additional resist, and you know, you could just go multi-mod this right there and sell it, right? It's definitely sellable. I've made something similar like that before already. This is like my third pair of gloves. I just crafted some life, fire res and cold res, whatever, right? Pretty solid. I mean, with the increased damage, and whoever buys it can just multi-mod it and craft you know, there's still two prefixes, right? So you can still get the increased damage while leeching, damage during flask effects, which is still like about 70% increased damage. Is huge. On top of the up to 50%, it's like 120% increased damage. That's like the equivalent of like 12 points on your tree. Increased trap damage. It's just so sick. Just so insane. Not to mention, of course, if you do hit the life, you can just easily multi-mod and yeah, and then you get the elemental damage if you've dealt a crit recently. So these are that's pretty insane. I'm just gonna post these for like, I don't know, how much do you guys think it's worth? I have no idea how to price it. There's nothing like it on PO Trade. No clue. I'm just gonna post this for 18 exalts and pray for the best. Maybe 25. Let's try 25. The fuck, right? We could just put it here. Anyways, this was the video. At this point, if you're interested, you could you know, multi-mod it yourself, craft life, craft double damage rolls, and not have the, you know, elemental if you've crit recently, and global crit, which is honestly not that big of a deal. Instead of 180% damage gloves, you'll have 130% damage gloves with slightly less life, right? Because you could still craft up to 70. Right, you could still craft up to, where were they? Yeah, these. You could still craft up to 70, right? Even if you hit a resist, so it's really not bad. And then you have a big resist, so instead of 180% increased damage gloves with small global crit chance, you get 150% increased damage glove with a big resist or any resist, and then it's pretty sick, you know. I don't know where all this thing is going. But, I mean, Krakic Chimerel, that's the name of the beast that you're kind of like looking for. And yeah, go ahead, craft. Good luck, everyone.